Welcome. Let's see. Okay, good evening, folks. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us right here on the Diaspora Informative News Magazine, Liberia Public Radio, and LPR-TV. A beautiful Friday right here in the East Coast. To all of you that's joining us right here in the USA, Liberia, other parts of the world, we say good evening and welcome to the show. Very shortly, we're going to get the ball rolling. Do us a favor, just hit the share button and invite someone at your company. If this is the first time joining us here, we say you are wholeheartedly welcome. Mr. James Tano is in the house, one of our prime time members, always here. How do I pronounce his name? Kawsy. Oh, I don't want to cause trouble here. Helen Ando is here. Sabrina, this is the liberal guy. This guy here, I think that's the guy I love, the liberals. No, that's okay. I would intend not to leave no one behind. Tamia Tafola is in the house. Antonin Yenfor, thank you so much. And all of you great people along the way, we will give recognition to the Mentrix Sapi. Good to have you here. Emmanuel, CEO is here. And all of you great guys here, I intend not to leave no one behind, but trust me, by virtue of your presence here, we can say you are wholeheartedly welcome. And thank you for being part of this evening program. I am Alfonso Z, and so will be your host and presenter here this evening. Hopefully, the rest of the analysts will be here. I want to have a conversation here very shortly, right here on top. It's already 8:08 Eastern Standard Time from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Welcome to the show. What a great one here. That's the rhythm that introduces the program. Good evening. Welcome to the show. I am your host and presenter, Alfonso Zienso, right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio. Time check here in the East Coast is 8:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia, I would say good morning. It's just a little after 12 a.m. If you're right here in the USA, Europe, Asia, other part of the world, we wholeheartedly appreciate your presence here this evening. And without you, we cannot just do it. If this is the first time, just by the visuals of your eyes, we throw a red carpet to welcome you on the Diaspora Informative News outlet, Liberia Public Radio. Interestingly, on this network, we don't do it the way you want us to do it. And we don't do it basically for entertainment purposes. Entertainment is a little part of the media industry, but we believe here at LPR, there are a lot of entertainment industry in the country, outside of the country, and all over the places. So we must find a little bit less time, and of course, to do it. Okay, here come by the lady, almost I see you consider as the queen of LPR. For 2 months, good to have you here. Thank you so much for your support to this network by showing up every evening. This is what we want. Show up every evening. Do not allow us to drive, to change the narrative or something that doesn't represent what we are saying. And interestingly, you should challenge what we say here as well, because I have some folks on this network here who are so politically inclined. They wear artificial dark shades, even if it is not the way it should be. Guess what? They are so politically correct. So they will interpret it, they will restructure it. It's like, you know how investigators, when something happened, they go on a crime scene to reconstruct the crime scene. That's who they are. That's how they do it. And the liberal is the one that is leading this sort of conspiracy on this network. He's not been to sister heavily someone that I thought who I didn't see coming moving in the column of the laborer. Jerry Barker. He is the real handbag of the laborer on this network. And the Reverend Pastor Terry Collins, who wants to be holding the gospel on one side and also be smoking the political gun on the other side and tries to walk far line. But interestingly, on this network here, we have highlanders. You have people like men like Sister Goyo. You don't know which way his wrath can fall. If for you in the next meeting, in the next twinkle of an eye, he's on the other side of the game. So that's the diversities and the beauty of this network. And you have the 1.5% because we kind of raised the percentage up to make him to feel comfortable to do what he's doing. Amon Joy from the far right is on the other side in the middle. You never know who he is, how his conversation can end up. Only 2 persons on this network remains very consistent to stand up for what is right on this network, and that is Dr. Malik Jones. Now, we are the 2 independent voices on this network. Sister Goyo Party, they came with the mentor of sweeping the corruption and sweeping, then the whole broom straw went before even whatever round took place. Now he moved to Sanction Avenue, from Sanction Avenue to asset recovery, from asset recovery, waged a heavy campaign on the Monrovia Consolidated School System. Mission accomplished on that one, trying to get Sasa Zanza Kawa job. He left from there. He's on different things. So, I mean, it is just, but trust me, the understanding, the conversation here is so interesting. And we respect one another's views. And we hope this time around we'll do it the right way we can do it, because everybody tries to gain for. So, we welcome all voices on this network. But what we do here, we ask all of the tough questions that are required. What are your seditions, your abortions, your fictions? They came with all kinds of names with the hope of changing the story, changing the narrative. I don't believe in them, all of them. I don't believe in them. And I've said it consistently here, nobody talks for me. I'm wide enough to speak. And this is what we want you to do. We want to empower people on this network to speak for control, to have that independent voice. And I know many of you got disappointed down the road. Oh, look at the other man, yeah, the way we thought he was there. Look at how he doing that. We put in there, he's not even picking our call. Then you start crying. But we told y'all, you never listen. But guess what? It's going to be quite interesting here. One of the reactions is here as well. So I'm not sure how it's going to go, like the Boasians, the reactions. 1.5% ANC guy, Amos George. So they are going to be here. So we're going to have a conversation here. A lot of things happening in the news cycle, things like Liberia, other places as well. We're going to chip in that. And of course, we'll do everything possible we can to have you here this evening, to have your voice. But just let this event, we learned of, I'm not sure, I have not been able to have been monitoring all of my devices. I haven't seen it, but I got multiple phone calls from New Jersey, Philadelphia, people within the DC area. There was, I don't know, it's a quake or well about, but I haven't read anything specific on that, but I got multiple phone calls, and those people that call, I can trust that, they are people with credibility. Nobody have any reason to lie on the kind of thing. Okay, let me bring in one of our guys. He's always chipping in here to give his expertise. He's one of the, he's not just on the sedition, but he is reaction. Yeah, as well. Oh my goodness. How can people just change their name like that? So would they stay in this thing for 6 years? have no question. Let me bring in Evan Morris, is a strong supporter of the CDC, and not just on the CDC reactions. So it's going to be interesting when Boasians show up, ANC, and whatever people show up here. So, guys, we say good evening, welcome. Just share the live view for us and invite someone at your company. LPR-TV is on. Let me just take this quick one here, and we will be right back. I want to come back. I will usher in. Evans Morris is a strong supporter of former President George Manawia. But he's very bold, though. That's the only thing. He's not the breakable type there. He's not a lion tail, lion kun, nyakun then type who, when it red and they say it's black, but they cannot tell you the chemical combinations as to how they arrive at that color. Evie is not like that, so I must give it to him. Welcome to the show. Let's get a ball rolling. Right here is 8:17 Eastern Standard Time. Let me go to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and bring in Evers. Is chipping through here. He's one of the Weashins, and not just only Weashins, but seditions, and not just only seditions. He all in the 29. My goodness.
2029 would be there, I guess ago.
Oh my God, I got a long way to go. But is there any provision we can circumvent the constitution and cut down the term, and then 2 years they have election?
No, thank you for having me, Mr. So let me say good afternoon to you. It's a lovely day here in Minnesota. Weather is pretty nice and clear, so we're happy for that. But let me say this: I think President Weah was wise to try to change the constitution to lower the term for the president from 6 years to 4 years, like we have here in the United States. But again,
with the Senate and all of that.
no, but it will be a change to the Constitution, Mr. So it has to be done through a referendum where you put it on the ballot and the entire nation vote on it, and the people voted against it. So the Liberian people must love the 6-year term for the president.
They're Liberia business to it kind of hard to talk because sometimes you go talk you late inside. Let me welcome my man, one of the guy in this industry doing an extraordinary job getting things out, Mr. Prince Double of the Boiler Room of the Prince Double Show. Prince, good to have you here this evening. He's, I believe, one of the reactions or sedition too, but they are somehow, I don't know. Okay, but that's the difference because some of you that support the president, you guys have a very objective mind, and that I think that's how it should be, because with that it helps to kind of like get the person on the right footing. But you support to the extent that something you know very well is not right, but still. Workable type, the tail line type, they wasn't doing the president good. They wasn't doing the president good. I don't see that as a good support. Anybody who does that, who gives such a support, I will disabuse you, I will reject it because I think you need it to the pay. Okay, Evans, good to have you here.
And I just wanted to say, we just, the show is just starting, but I've been clashing with some seditions, on other platforms, even people calling my phone and complaining that why am I saying that Joseph Boyka's government is doing better than President Weah when it comes to the issue of the drug, quote unquote drug war, like we call it in America, the drug fight in Liberia against drugs. Look, Mr. Soy, like you said, you can't look at the sky and say it's green when it's blue, The reality is, though we love President Weah, we supported him, he did very little to almost nothing to combat the drug epidemic that was happening in our country. So when we look at people like Abe Kroman, gallivanting, drug abusers or drug, dealers around and seem to be getting the job done in this early stage, we must give it to this government. If President Boyka has done anything right, at least by the early appearance, it was, appointing Abe Kroman, or the old saying, the people know where all the bodies are buried. So Abe Kroman knowing knowing who he is, he knew all these guys all along during the
Oh,
weird time. But he was not helping we had to
you see,
to give the tips so they can arrest these guys. But now that he's in there, he go into all the corner there where all these guys are hiding and bringing it to light. So we must give him props for that. So seditions
oh,
and we are supporters. Please, let's be honest. Honest
no,
criticism is always the best criticism.
Evans, you're good at kind of like what a word I wanted to use. You're so strategic in doing stuff. You give them now, you pour AB Chroma in the bubble now, like he knows where these guys is. I'm not sure what seditions are very tactical, not to mention the reaction step like you giving it to him, but now you are projecting like he knows where these guys, and so like it was hitting. Is that why you're saying? Yeah, no, but you're quite correct. They are making some efforts. We must say it, and I think this was one of the things that was missing. I'm wondering sometimes you as a seditious, so how do they perceive you to be? You are faking, you are not a supporter, because our people sometimes, if they do not agree with you, if they find out your talking point is not in line with their philosophy, it's like, oh, but in fact, he went on with all. This is why he or she is talking this sort of way, and that's sort of frustrating, though.
Right. And that's the gist of it because one of the things I don't like, the place where we come from, we
Fighting is
don't like injustice. We don't like to see people being treated unfairly and we sit there and we watch it. So when people gang up on president, we are on the other platforms that appear on, and it's unfair. I always stand up for the president. But in that same token, I have my own criticism for him. So it wasn't just a sycophant, a sycophancy where I would just be on there, praising the president to no ends. I criticize him on certain things and I praise him on others. But on the flip side, the party, supporter, ANC supporter, they will criticize him on everything and never see any praise for him. So for me, I like to be balanced. Although I would tell you, I lean with the president, I lean with the CDC when it comes to my political affiliation, but I am not bound to them. Come heaven or hell. I am. Nobody is 100% objective. I try to be as objective as I can be, but at the same time, I make it known that I lean on the side of the CDC and in favor of the president. So at least you know where I stand. But at the same time, nobody would tie my tongue and not allow me to criticize when I want.
Your
That's the thing.
Evis, your objectivity will not reach the required percentage point. You have a side, you have a political side.
Yeah, I know that. I know that.
It will creep in your skin, it will go on your skin. That feelings, that emotion, political sentiments going to kick in, and you say, "Wait a minute, I'm not going to say it here because you like Rebel get to say, oh, you can't undress your own devil, but some devil that needs to be undressed,
Well,
If you-
the thing you're fighting is devil, you're not like it. You're not like it when you undress the devil. So just know why you're undressing it.
Okay, so we're going to change gear here, but we'll try to take a retrospect on some of the things that are going on. Is the president, is he thinking right now as to, I wish I would have done this? Do you think he's thinking about that? Former President Weir?
Yes, look, for some of us who have a little bit of insight, I'm not going to claim to be somebody who knows everything that went on during the president's, term. But one of the president regrets is that he was too laid back. He allowed people who convinced him that they could handle the day-to-day running of the government. He allowed them to run things, and they kept assuring him that everything was under control, when in fact it wasn't under control. And that's what happened during the election time. That's why you saw, certain people was being ostracized during the election period because the president had lost confidence in him. When he really saw how things were proceeding, he felt like they deceived him, that they were reassuring him that everything was under control, but when in fact it wasn't. So I think the president felt like if he had the chance again, he would be more hands-on and making every final decisions on some key things that happened during his term. But I think we all will have regrets from this president, a first term, certain things, especially with the drug issue, the issue of solving some of these murder cases that was high profile. People pinned it to him as if to say he was the one that committed those crimes. So the justice minister didn't do the president any favor. We know that. The DEA agent for sure didn't do the president any favor. The finance minister definitely did the president a great deal of disservice. When he came on radio, he made a fool of himself many times. He either misspoke or blatantly lied to the Liberian people. That eroded trust in the government of President Weir. So for those of us who are on the outside, in a little in the inside, we understood that the president felt like these were the people he came in with. To change them now would be too late in the game to change the players. So he was stuck with them. But after the elections, he won, he would have made some major reshuffle. That's what we were hearing. But fortunately, he didn't pull it out. So that's the echo around the CDC right now. But hopefully they will come back strong in 2029.
Okay, I don't usually allow audience, I'm not like the liberal comments from the audience viewers. We give them the authority to exercise the social interaction, but we are very careful the kind of language tone that we use. In as much people have those civil liberties to use what they can use, but we maintain ethical values on this network. And we can vehemently disagree with one another. You have the right to call me to call me based on my talking point, whether I'm a seditions, I'm a reactions, I'm a ANC, Liberty Party, whatever that, you have the right. But we do not allow certain things to take place on this network. We have a way of containing people, and you're not really forced to be here. So Pharaoh, I'm not sure, but hopefully this is, I believe, perhaps I don't watch, but sometimes we are sensitive. If we don't even see it, our viewers, this network, disciplined viewers, they will send a message, hey, this is not what we entertain here. We have intellectual the engagement, agree and disagree with my talking point with the analysts and say, hey, I disagree. If you want to come on, we bring you. We intend not to leave no one behind. But when people begin to use reckless statements, comments, and put words together and put everybody in that sort of Facebook too has advances, way of doing things. They can, there's an option now. We can put you somewhere where you can just be there to see outside. You will not come in, you will not do anything. But this is a warning. We all want to build Liberia. To build in Liberia require national conversation, and this is what we are doing. Nobody wants to invest into something that would not be resourceful. I don't usually do this, but please, we're gonna give you. Usually, if the liberal trust me, I'm not gonna give you a second chance. But you are passing through, so I'm gonna give you a second chance. So you can disagree with us. Okay, let's go to Minneapolis. It seems to be the Minnesotans or the Twin Cities people going to be dominant here this evening. Evans, do you know how to call the Tiawan Gonglo people? Why they are on a slope?
I don't know. Maybe they're the broom shans, the people who get a broom. So maybe I don't know what they do for that.
So they call it the broom shans?
I don't know. That Mr. Goya, you can ask it. What they call it, people? What a nickname?
Yeah, I mean, you're bad, man. So when you get the way you get Shan, so your funny counterpart to be Shan. So are you guys broom shans or what?
Elvis, it's been a long while. I haven't seen you, my man.
Yeah, my man.
You will learn that the mayor got away to put people in trouble. When they were in school, he was to make people fight. He saw me in the background, that how he teased you off for that shit, baby, for you to tell you what the thing. Don't mind. And you know what I will do today? I will join what the professor that did when he came with the top with 40 minutes. Like that, don't be what they want.
I value you for allowing to put a fire, Papa. You don't want to expose the man around the fire.
That other MCSS superintendent, can you share?
The man scared of Mr. Goya. You calling the man from the photo for consulting with him before you fire him too.
I don't get what you playing with. I won't call him. I want to call you and say, you know who you're dealing with. You better be careful before you raise your
Elvis, you do the first. I put my wet flag on. You still taking shit, my man?
No, my man. You don't pass that well. That's someone I be on the network. You guys were buddies, and you just expose the man like that. Not good.
No, we still buddies, but to be buddies to me, in the fact that they get away, but on the serious note, bro, I started with the time with me because remember I can post my different thing, but something different. He can't do politics. No, every politics on my pool.
I think people cry after they
what made you do the cry, Mr. Soul?
But on a serious note, when I was coming on, I heard you. One of our brothers, you were giving him a shout out, Prince Double. And I watched the Prince Double show. 70% of what he say I don't agree with, but it's a tolerance issue, right? It's where you go to listen to other people's perspective. He has a unique he has a unique perspective. I go listen to him. I don't make plow with him. I listen to his perspective to kind of ground me and maybe sometimes challenge my own perspective. But I'm saying this to say that I saw on his page, he hasn't been going live lately. I think he's bereaved. I think he lost somebody very close to him. So I wanted to say, my brother Prince, you're in our prayers. We hope you come through. I saw you. I think you were trying to cut his sister's hair. I think it's your culture, right? So you were trying to shave his sister's hair. So we miss you on the internet, my brother. You know, we don't always have to agree, but everybody got a space in this Liberia. So deeper condolences to you, Prince, and I hope you and your family recover and God give you the grace and the mercy to find love and find some peace.
Sometimes he can flag on he can flag on your own situation too. It can be, you know that people once the day you're not on their side, the day your language change, forget it. Then they stigmatize you. They made not one of us. Okay, guys. Good evening. Welcome. Let's have a conversation here. The president made more appointments in government. I listened to, I don't know who had the privilege to listen to the presidential press secretary daily press briefing and all of that. I think that's one of the things. This was one of the gaps that was seen within the past government. As the result, people fill in with those missing links, regardless of the style, how they're doing it. But when information is gradually flowing, it helps to stabilize unnecessary conversation out there. And I think this is one of the things this government has managed to do. They have increased instead of the weekly, I think almost like twice a week now at the Ministry of Information, bringing different agents. I'm not saying it was not happening, but we didn't see that much. Especially the last executive mentioned, solo cover my own friend, the other person. This sort of interaction that we're seeing now, some of the bumpy questions coming out, that did not happen. And it doesn't show the side of the executive as to how it was functioning. And that was a meeting. Sissy, but you watch our guy was to who that other guy from I call national disaster. I call national management.
That's Josiah Joker, I think.
No, not CSA.
Not CSA. Management disaster.
National Disaster Management Agency.
You got who are elucidating. My God.
My man. Abo give me a headache, my man. Look, you know.
Yeah.
You can say I could email only alligator there. So let me email my own alligator. That boy talking like from local country. So let me talk to my own local country.
Yeah, I almost said that, boy.
That interview on EFBC, I think I saw it.
The man had a press conference with the one that Joka was at. They had a press conference that was carried out at the Ministry of Information.
That's
and
regular
I was talking about the CSA process, and this guy was there talking about disaster management and other things, my man. You should go watch that thing, Elvis.
I will watch it. You know, I let it live. I let it go.
Buy a 6-pack of beer, let's set it down. The man yelling over the microphone like he's not talking in mic. The man is using terminologies that have no need, no reason. But somehow, you know, the people that argue in the Palava huts at the various campuses, and he still thinks he's at some campus arguing in the Palava hut, talking about, you know, we got to bring the disaster issue to equilibrium. And as I get on this issue right now, who told them I have to communicate? You are speaking for the national government. You speak for people to understand you, and you use the least amount of words. Don't waste people's time. If I just had and left the man the press conference, man was still there, he was still going on. And then you could understand that this guy knows nothing about disaster management or about speaking to the public.
I went back and listened to that over and over.
I listened to the thing. You must have all that that day. I say, move I go to my different thing.
Well, what does that say about Pape that you bring that man? That means he probably didn't make that decision firsthand, right?
No. And here's my thing. I would say to everybody: we are not going to excuse Joseph Boakai, just like we didn't excuse George Weah when he made mistakes, or people in your government made mistakes. We carry straight to George Weah door and put it there. We carry one straight to the building and put it there. If people that he got vetting people, he ought to have vetted the people that are vetting the people.
Right.
If people put people in place that we are finding issues with, we'll put it right to the doorstep. We're not saying maybe he didn't do it, he didn't do the appointment, because this is what the party people want us to say. Say, oh, somebody else made the appointment. Then the other person will take the blame, and then Joseph Boakai will not take blame. No, that Joseph Boakai got me here. But here's my thing. There are some people who are administrators, and they're not necessarily communicators. This is where you hire a communicator to be a spokesperson, or you go through the Ministry of Information and speak for you. But my man, I say when you Elvis go watch it, man, you watch it. I
want to bring it here.
I watch it.
I watched it. Imagine I was watching stuff about the man talking about. So we're talking scientific facts, and this is not guesses no more. Okay, nobody told you were guessing. You know, and my man, I beg you, go listen to the thing, because myself, I got tired. I just tell the thing I left on there.
Let me say something. Maybe you agree with me. Do you agree that some people who can be very smart in the classroom, you know, when they're doing tests, that the answers are sound, when they're writing essays, very well, you know, written, but when it comes to public, speaking, they can't enunciate the words correctly. They can't project well. They don't know how to put good sentences together. But when they're writing it sounds good. So this could be a guy who is academically well, grounded. But when it comes to public speaking and really putting words together to speak to the public, he probably isn't that.
That is,
he does have a degree, because you can hear him. Like Bremen,
both party may eat a book, but the way
like Bremen, no small book. They got to study the student companion, and the only way we will know that you know book, you got to use BB terms, and so because apparently when you speak to a level that the majority of people understand you, then you don't know book, right? So you could tell that he's trying to project that he knows something, but what he knows is not communication, because that came through clearly. And also what he knows might not even be disaster management, because I was listening to him. Might not be disaster.
So what if men know that? What if men know that they were putting in disaster management if it has nothing to do with disaster management?
What I see is to say we're going to have a divided role on that. But I think what was happening, they have this thing, public speaking. You should know your audience. And the player that he found himself, the other guys talking about, which of course you are trying to make the case, because these natural disasters and things happening, there should be resources that when something happens, that there will be an immediate response. In that kind of thing, man, when you get an opportunity, you want to speak to the level that people, you will be very precise, get to the point. Oh man, that guy, I think I love my man. I don't want to sound ridiculous.
Stop it, man. Stop it.
If I'm looking but you can't, you're hunting love my man.
So then what do you
so I mean, like you see, man, put on like you see,
Elvis, he let trouble. They get plenty of traffic. Don't put me in the game.
I mean, the whole bidding was just tearing up, and he was just wasting it.
But look. Again, Elvis, please, when you get it time, go watch it.
I will watch it. God, I saw the Joker talking. I said, okay, the guy is doing too much. But
there's a difference between, even Joker stood up higher than him. You could tell the difference between the button and answering the question. And then a journalist asked him about, I think they used to hire some local, I guess they call them disaster clerks or some kind of a clerk, people who will collect data collection. And those data collects are no longer, I guess, the CDC government, I guess they were not doing their work, or they weren't there anymore. So the question the journalist asks, what are you going to do to bring back these data collects? Simple, man. We got them in our budget. We allocated them in our budget. We hope they pass. The man even start offering a journalist job. You know, I mean, the question several times. Anytime you see me, either you're interested in becoming a data clerk, you can reach out to us and let us know what you can do. Maybe we can hire you. You are right at the press conference where the CSA director is saying that agencies are not responsible to hire people.
Right.
And you are right there telling somebody, say, reach out to me. Maybe you know something about this, can hire you. I say, I don't think by feeling. I
think this is where the gap is broken in our country, and that's been for a long while. And people should be able to adapt this sort of system. You see these big people, not that they don't know anything. The reason they have these spokespersons, people who has a broader knowledge, who will be able to articulate, be an effective communicator. Because the essence of communication is for people to grab what you are saying. If I'm talking something here and people have no clue, they're not getting anything, I'm just using words. First of all, you understand that you have diverse group of people from different background, professional background. The term that you're going to be using in the engineering field is not as the same term in the journalism field, in what different. Every subject matter has its own term. There might be the same word, you might call it, but it has a different interpretations or implication. And that's why people don't know. You know,
let me ask you, you remember that guy from Nigeria, I think I know Patrick Obabiano, some guy that was speaking big words in Nigeria.
I know the guy.
A professor, yes. And actually everything he was saying makes sense, but you actually have to open a dictionary, read the definition of the words, put them together, you say, okay, everything he's saying makes sense. But just listening to it on the surface, you won't understand anything he's saying. So, shouldn't try to imitate people like that. Effective communicator will communicate with people on different intellectual levels for them to understand the crux of the issue.
And it's not only in government setting, even in our own community. You have some people, they invite them as a speaker. They don't know how long they're going to stay on the podium. They don't know when people, we had a style here in Tottenham. When you come to speak, we get special time allotted. If you hear from the background when somebody start like dragging their folded eye, like somebody dragging something, oh man, then that's a warning sign like, oh man, you're not still on that podium, it's time to go. The next thing now, you will see just stop and think coming. But anyway, let's come to the conversation here. Let's see here. The president, I listened to the presidential press secretary, and from what I gathered today, and she was making some constitutional provision with this whole asset declaration because it doesn't require a force people to be. So it's a convoluted one here. It's a tough one here. How can we? So anybody I think it is time for some of these laws, guys, to be honest. If we really mean business, we want to change the system. We want for people to be held accountable. I think it is time we take a revisions of these laws and even go back to the code of conduct. And what is the essence of code of conduct? When they just ask me, Alfonso just declare, okay, I get 200,000. It can be published. Nothing. You just give it to an institution, and that institution does not have the right to just publish without your consent or the law. There's a hook there say, don't do it. If I want to do it, you got to go to court. Who got time? Who have time for all of that? So with this sort of good governance we are talking about here, I see here there's still a gap. There's still disconnect. How can we achieve these things when we have clauses, when we have hooks, which of course they are laws, so we have to deal with it. We can't honor it. We can't kill them prematurely. It has to go through a process. But that makes it very difficult for us to get a sort of transparencies and good openness in government that we want.
This is where I usually say, when you just copy and paste, for those of us that like using Mac, you do the Control-C, Control-V, you drop it. You have not changed anything. And then sometimes when you move the document from a Mac to a PC, sometimes it shifts.
Yeah.
And if you don't account for it, or even sometimes you're moving a PowerPoint slide from a PC to a Mac, to a Mac, you get some problems. I'm saying all of this to say that the issue of integrity institutions were copied directly out of after America, which is a good thing. We should have changed some things in it to account for the prevailing circumstances and for our tradition in governance, to account for it. What am I saying? In America here, you saw how many years it's taken before a court could rule that the House of Representatives in their investigation could have access to Donald Trump tax records.
Right.
Because it was tied in privacy and a lot of things. And it's the same thing these people in Liberia are hiding behind the privacy or all kinds of things, because we just took the law and carry it that way. Now, here in America, we have a lot of watchdog institutions. We have a lot of non-governmental institutions that are fully funded, that can fight, and a lot of well-funded and financed media houses that have their own law firms. I mean, you know, they can fight it and they can find these documents. The same is not, it's not the same in Liberia. So if you tell me I got to go file a freedom of information request in Liberia out of court and expect to get a just hearing for somebody to release somebody asset declaration to me, it's not, sorry to say, it's not going to happen. Even in this great United States, people fight it. Right now, as the director of math, I have 2 freedom of information requests from parents in our district that are asking for the data on, you know, our advanced math classes. What are the proportion of them that are black and brown and minority? What proportion are white? Which proportion of those kids come from homes from immigrant families? They're asking me for a whole bunch of stuff because they're looking at equity issue. Just yesterday, I was sitting in front of my legal team, going through all of those documents, giving data to them, and they will figure out how to do with them. And they are telling me it might take them about 90 days before they can give the people the document. So this is America. You expect it to happen in Liberia? So one thing that I'm hoping people change, you know, I listened to the same press conference we're talking about Elvis. The question was asked to Jeremy Pierre about this particular asset declaration piece. He said, the law requires that you declare your asset. The law does not require that you publish it. And he said that he, Jeremy Pierre, will declare and publish his asset, but he cannot speak for other government officials, and because it is within their rights to live by the law and declare their asset, but not publish it. And Darius DeLong, and that's why he's my own buddy. I'm calling his name out here. They all said the last time during the campaign period that they were going to take a look at this law, particularly the part that has to do with declaration and publishing, that they were going to have a look back at this law to make sure that there are some corrections made in it, where it becomes mandatory for the governance, the institution that receives the asset declaration form to publish them. Nothing has moved here on that. We're still waiting on them to start that. Because, Mr. So, you're right. We have to change this. Because other than that, somebody's just going to fill out my paper and give it to LACC. Or if you're in the legislature, you give it to the sergeant at arms or whatever the office is there, and they put it, so going to draw the lackey. Now, before somebody can see it at war. You know, and then how do we hold people accountable? So you're right, it has to change. And the likes of DeLong told us that we're going to change it. I still hold him accountable. I still hope you're going to change it. I still hope the Senate and the House of Representatives got a spine to make sure that they change this. But we can't do this. We can't continue to do this, and we claim that we want to have a corruption-free society. How do you have a corruption-free society when somebody declared an asset? A, we don't have a way to know. B, we can't even check it, and C, it hidden somewhere in the box. So I will stop right there for now. Pierre said that.
I wanted to piggyback off him, but Mr. Soder, you're coming.
And real quick on the show, was it different today when I talk about this? I said, even if the president say, if you don't publish, I will fire you, because a lot of the ministers, they work at his will. You can fire them without giving cost. But what happens if a 10-year president, they say, I will live by the law, which is to declare but not publish? You can't fire the 10-year president because of that.
Okay, So the house, man, Edmonds George is here now. Say you can say whatever you want to say about him. Terry is here. Say whatever you want to say. Pa George, good evening. Welcome. Terry, a strong ally to the liberal progressive. This is you were only a Tabata again last night. My goodness. What? Yeah. This is unbelievable. I try to get Terry out of that cage of the liberal, but it's not working. Gentlemen, good evening. Welcome.
Welcome, Mr. Sissy, Terry, and
to the panel, Sissy and Elvis.
Elvis. How you doing?
Yeah, okay, and you guys can pick whatever you want, but I think this not just gentlemen, it's not just only this access tool. The other portion that is the other law that says is that part of the same code of conduct? The law then some of them so crazy that I can steal today, right? After 5 years, 6 years, nobody come to me.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
Now, I would disagree with you, Mr. So maybe I can come in quickly and disagree with you. Because even in this country, we have statute of limitations on certain crime, except rape and murder. The statute of limitation is not something that is unheard of in quote unquote developed countries. So I don't think because theft is not something that has no statute of limitation. You can have a statute of limitation after a few years if you didn't bring it to the police in a timely manner. But quickly, before I get the mic back there, I just want to respond to Mr. Koya. Just a point to add to what he said. Look, there's that old saying, trust but verify, right? So I think the asset declaration process is not finished just by declaring, because a declaration of property or even a declaration of independence, for example, has to be agreed upon. So these people, when they declare the asset, it's not the end of it. The LSCC or whichever body is governing the asset declaration process has to check and evaluate the properties and the holdings that you are quote unquote declaring and make sure that it commensurate with the value that you put on the paper. So just saying that you have, like Musa Bilote did, he said that he has $36 million. He may have way more money than that or way less money than that. Well, you first have to verify the assets, make sure that they're worth that money on the on the market, and the value that he paid for it, and the value that he has appreciated or depreciated. So all of those things has to be done. So I don't know if the agency is doing that to make sure that whatever somebody is coming and say, oh, I got a $3 million house, I got a $50,000 car, when in fact the person's house is only worth 100, 1,000. The car is only worth 20,000. How can you determine those things? So that's why I think the process is flawed in itself, and it has to be revamped, because the asset declaration has to be verified, and then make sure that whatever they're declaring is actually the value of the properties that they declare.
Yeah, and that's true because what that is, independent institutions or validate, or are they just only accepting what the individual want to report? This is what I want, this is what I have. Is that it? Okay, let's go to Minneapolis, Minnesota, where Tara Collins, senior political analyst. I don't know what. Are you a liberal or what, Terry? I've not asked you a question before.
Oh, what? They meant to senior. I thought they meant.
Yeah, I said if you're a junior, they're not.
I thought they meant elementary. Like you promoted the meant senior.
You are. I mean, you want to now? That man. I said, are you a liberal?
No, I'm not either or. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a conservative. I'm not.
Or you a Green Party?
I'm neutral, so I don't want to be. I don't want to be involved with all that kind of thing, because the liberals, they got some things that they do that I don't like. Likewise, the conservative got things they do I don't like.
And you hang out with a liberal here, right?
Yeah. Well, the liberal do not come as liberal when it comes to Liberian politics. He switch. You don't observe him?
That's true. Okay. All right.
So yeah.
Yeah, Terry. So look, this is like rocket, man. It's hard to talk. So what are you hearing from your corner? What is the headache that you're getting again? Everything going smooth, right?
Well, yeah. I just wanted to clarify one or two things, but actually with the government, I think you guys were talking something on the plate already. I don't know if that is the discussion for tonight.
Yeah, no, you can. Yes,
but the clarification.
Good to have you. Yeah, go ahead.
The clarification I want to make is that it's not only for us, the panel, but also for listeners and many people too. Like the last time we're having a discussion here, and people keep making the statement. I have heard that many times that the Christianity is that white man thing. That white man brought Christianity to us. So I wanted to make clarity on that. That Christianity is not a white man religion. It's not a white man culture. Christianity started long ago, before even the white man came into existence. Christianity is not a white man thing. Many people think that Jesus Christ is a white man. No, the Bible did not describe Jesus as a white man. The Bible even described Jesus as a black man. There are scriptures in the Bible that when you read it, the description that the writer gave is black, is not white. So the picture and posters that people see on the board, that the runway and think that, oh, it's a white man religion. It's not a white man religion. Christianity started from Israel, the Middle East. You understand? It backdated long time ago. The English people translated the Bible from Hebrew, Greek, and Latin into English. So the Americans or the white people adopted the culture and the beliefs of Christianity. Christianity is not a white man thing, because even what is written in the Bible, the white men don't practice it. So sometimes you guys need to take a time out and read the Bible for yourself. Maybe you'll begin to understand the culture and the phenomenon that the book brings to the table. I just wanted to make that clear.
I have one question.
Wow.
Existed before white people. When white people started existing, please tell others who can't get money.
Well, there's this notion now that Christianity is a white man thing.
No, man,
that is what I came to clarify. No, I'm not in quote.
Before white people were
I'm not in quote to tell you when white men came into existence.
How you tell me something that I can't verify it?
It's left for you to go verify it. I'm not here to provide you information when white men came into existence. If you don't know that, I'm not supposed to teach you that.
But why you put something in the space? We can challenge you on stuff you put in the space. You
challenging me on white man existence. You're not challenging me on the culture of scripture.
I didn't even ask about culture.
Hello. Terry, Jesus was not black.
Hold on 1 second.
What? You want me to show you scripture that proves that Jesus is described as
Terry, you answer my question. I ain't even talking about culture.
Yeah, I'll come in 1 second. So I got a special, how you call it? There were a group of our followers. They were upset. They said they wanted to go march on Washington, and I say, why? They say, I'm not joking. Was that yesterday or day before? Today is what? Wednesday. He said, no, Mr. So, guy, we're gonna. If we have court here to carry, we're gonna, because we take time here, and the conversation went so high tension and everything. So yes, so we're gonna have time by time, because part of what we're doing here is not like a closed door. People are listening so that they will. Okay, Carter, I'm going to send a link back. I did send it to everybody, but I'm sending it right back to you. Okay, so Cecily, so I think Cecily wanted to ask you a question.
I'm okay.
Where do you want from? No, sometimes
it's good to not go down a rabbit hole, especially when
I want to make a quick comment for 10 seconds. I will not even dispute. I will agree with Terry and disagree with Terry. So when people say it's a white man culture, it's not, because the common image we see of quote unquote Jesus is a caricature of the guy that called Cesare Borgia, which is a guy from Italy who Michelangelo drew. And now that picture has been used as the standard for who Jesus is. But Jesus was not a black either, as a black African as we are. They said his skin was like burnt brass. Burnt brass is not black as we are. It's more like a tan. So he was a quintessential Middle Eastern man who had a tan. He wasn't black African as we are. So it's neither quote unquote Western white, nor is it black African religion. Is a Middle Eastern religion. So
let's do this one here. When we're to go carry a joint crusade in Labrador, then we go make people.
But usually when people say it's a white man religion, sometimes we got to lay foundation. is people are speaking with respect to who brought it to you. Liberia, the missionaries that brought Christianity were white people. And sometimes when people speak about culture and say Christianity is not an African, it's not a Liberian culture, that's a fact. It's not Liberian culture. So I don't know where the argument here is. You know, but then that people, the Christianity existed before white people, and we ask the question, when white people came on earth, then nobody can answer that up by that. I'm going down a rabbit hole, but let me talk about different thing tonight.
Okay, so hold it right there. Amos Joyce. The liberal is already on you now, so but he will not show face here because this night will be a rough night. So okay, Pa George, let's hear you. Too much coming on. There were some things that we were really supposed to talk on Wednesday that we never had a chance to go in depth on some of the things. Sister, good evening. Right? My own sister, Sister Rita. So good evening. So let's bring in Koto Jalabala in from you. How is the pleasure? I hope they say your era was shaking this. How everything out there? Koto? All the pepper seeds are falling down, or what?
Oh my God, that's my actually it was my hi, good evening to all the good evening to the people of Liberia. It was actually my first time to really experience such a sound.
Wow.
Yes, because I'm getting feedback, right?
No, you're okay now.
Are you using the phone that Amos Joyce sent you?
So you can't use blue phone,
it's okay now, right?
Yeah, I think there was an audio, some device.
It wasn't that somebody to against fire exploded in New Jersey. That wanted the sound went all over the East Coast. What is it about? I know that you.
No, actually, in the buildings, I was actually at work. I was at home, so I thought there was some construction actually going on, but I then asked that I heard a sound, but then the lady told me she couldn't hear the sound. But I was like, no, I heard a sound, So we started looking through the window to see where the sound was actually coming from. But we looked around, there was no car, and we thought probably they were carrying on some construction in the street. And then I was like, okay, let's forget it. I just disregard it. But when I sat in the chair, then later my daughter just told me, she said, oh, there's an earthquake, Mom. There's an earthquake. I was like, okay, yes, I heard a sound, but I didn't know the sound of an earthquake because I've never heard a sound before. So I don't know what earthquake I didn't expect it is.
All right, well, we pray it, everything goes well.
I'm just so thankful that we didn't hear otherwise of some, some chaotic situation, and we're so much happy that so far I haven't heard of any, incident or any accident or death or any occurrence. So far, they are just like maybe there will be another occurrence, so everybody is like otherwise. But the most part about it is that the reporters are saying that they don't even have a sign of this when it's about to happen. So that's why about nature is just completely different. So no one can say I will prevent myself easily when it happens. So like it happened, everybody was aware. Who knows, But I just want to say, thank God for some of us who trust God. And we can say thank God because anything will happen otherwise. I mean, it would have been bad news.
The old man is so patient. It reminds me. I can remember 2004, Danane, the Ghana, and thing. 6 o'clock, man. Everybody here in the Father, when you take me from here, I will do your way. I will do this. When the going gets tough and the tough girl going down, then everybody tend to look to the Zion, look up to the Zion. Okay, Amos George, let's get a conversation. So let's hear you. What is trending from your area there? What is trending? Because Georgia always put a drama. I don't know what are the coach systems still on with your man, but What is the trending news worth sharing with your audience here this evening?
Well, I mean, nothing much, but Georgia is all right. The Supreme Court in Fulton County just denied Donald Trump's motion that he should not be held liable that was free speech. So the judge said no. So I know they will take an appeal just to delay. But Fannie Willis is here strong.
Wow.
But having said that,
let's send a way in Liberia.
Yeah. Having said that, Terry, this is a public platform. If you make any statement, we have the right to ask you. Or if I make any statement, you have the right to ask me for clarity. And if Sissy says something, I have the right to ask Sissy, and Sissy has the right to ask me. And everybody that comes on the platform. So when you make a statement and someone actually says, it's not mean to tell you go and do your research. No. If that's the case, then don't say it. Because I don't know what you're talking about, and I want more information. That will enable me to do more research. So let's just make that clear. There was no Middle East before. There was no Middle East. Those are all white people creation, Middle East. There was no Middle East. So let's just leave it aside. And Christianity was taken to Africa, and they destroy our religion. They destroy our religion. Christianity was taken to Africa and by white people, and they destroy our religion. Now some people say, oh, the people used to pray to gods, braver, moon. Are you really kidding? But these are the things that they did to us to destroy our culture and our religion. So, but let's leave that for another day discussion. I just want to make that point. Look,
Mr. Can't let go.
So, the guy who is CSA, the civil servant director, Joker, I don't to call him.
Yeah, the side Joker.
He's trending there. He's seeing that after President we have made a pronouncement, people went beyond that to start hiring people. And he said, all those that were hired, after the president made a pronouncement, they will go. They might just consider that they got no job because the president made a pronouncement and people went above that, started hiring people in different agencies and things. So all those people will go. And he's talking about printing on handbooks, HR directors to know the job description and the function, and they're going to be distributed all across the board in government agencies. And I want to applaud him for that because these are things. But the asset declaration, that law, there's a flaw in it. That law got a big hole. And I think the Senate need to correct it. Because if you are hired by the Liberian people, and there's a law that you should declare your asset, how do I know what you're declaring? You declare, I don't see it.
Right.
Even they say,
Yeah, the mini phone. Oh, mega mini okay.
Yeah. If they declare the asset, if they even do the assessment, they are not allowed to publish it. And the Constitution is not helping us because they say it is a public record, but you should go to court so you can have access to it. But the court would deprive you because we saw it during George Weah time when George Weah declared asset. Front page and other newspapers went to the court, and they were denied. So the law there is very biased, and I think they need to visit it. Declaring and publishing, it should be inserted into the law to give you a tip because we want to know what you're bringing in when we hire you. So tomorrow when you're leaving, we can accuse you. And it is good for them and also for the public. So that's what printing in Liberia for me. And I saw, oh Lord, you know, that's Nicole. I don't know, like there's something wrong with our country. You go and sit on people's property for years. They did a kind of movie, then you say, oh, the government is not helping me. What is wrong with what is wrong with us? You go illegally sit on someone's property 10, 15 years. They ask you to leave. You don't do it. When they get a judgment, they can evict you. And you say, oh, the government is not helping us. Is that how we want to live in a country? That I can just go and squat on someone's property and take it. Not buying it from them. Illegally just take it. And when they come and evict me, then I say, oh, this person we get the government is not seeking our interest. I think that is wrong. And I think the Justice of the Human Baka government should empower the court. If you squat on people's land and they go to court, and the court should be in the position to make a sound decision. And if you don't have document, they should evict you from that person's property. That's why government property, because I see in Morovia, government land, people are encroached on it. Matari, that whole Matari there. 1979, when Tower built that old estate, Matari estate, all those places you see today, guard houses, they are sewer pipe under there. We used to play football there. Going to New Matari, Christian Herbert, the late Christian Herbert, and places, all the places were bought by government. But today, go see, they say they buy from one VAR man. Oh, that one VAR, like the VAR was sold the property to also. Did the VAR people ran those pipes, those sewer pipes under the ground there? No. They see the wizard. What we still call the dumper. Tower bought that place. They were filling that place up. Tower bought that place. My brother, he had a horse in the swan. They paid him $17,000 during Tower time. But today, Moses P. Harris, one of the late deputy speaker, Moses P. cursing, when they right after the war, he started saying, now horse swan. He said he was surveilled. They played for him, people bought it to the city, and they're comfortable. I'm serious.
Okay.
So government need to put the foot down and start breaking these quarters down. If that private property, let it take it.
Jesus Christ. Let it take it.
Draconian.
Okay. Yeah, I think there are real national issues that we have to kind of like go much deeper to talk about, because these sort of vacuums, we say we want an effective system, we want a transparent system. But the politicians, they are very strategic and very clever. And Ada James, like put it in a real way. You know, they will make laws, they will create something and just put some sort of inch on a huge lot. And guess what? The key there will be no save for that key. They lock it and then throw the key in deep sea. So you gotta be a diver now to go and unlock that. Let's come to Cotto. What's your talking point? You agree with Pa George? We need to visit the laws. These clauses, they do. I think they do it basically to protect themselves, because they potentially they are the beneficiary. Huh? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm there. Okay, thank you, Mr. So. I think it's necessary. That's why they have amendment in law, and these are laws that people go to revisit, because sometimes some of the events or some leaders, like you rightly said, they put some phrases there to protect themselves. But if there are some other people or representative senators coming in, not representative senators coming in to make some of the amendment, I mean, it is necessary, because some are like, for example, we have like this where they have Negroes, like some terms or some clause that are added to some, laws. It's sometimes good to be amended, because that condition sometimes is not like visible now. Some of those conditions right now are like not necessary, like I've been saying. So sometimes you go back to revisit these laws to see what you can amend. Okay, and that's why it's there by amendment. You have to do that because many of these, like old laws, you will have to go and revisit those laws to see what adjustment can be done there.
Okay.
What really touches my heart, like you were saying, I saw something about the controller's salary being held. I think they had about 17 controller salary be held because they did not send in their report. And I think this was very good example to set, because what happened every time people will sit when they have report to make, they will sit and be delaying. They have this delay title. Sometimes they wait the last minute of time before they start sending report in. And just see, for example, see what's happening now. The government is going to pay a huge amount to recall the legislature, which is not is very expensive on the government. We going there complaining that they don't have money. Now they're going to recall these people, and they got to be paid of the time they will be taken out. What will happen to those that have caused the delay? There should be some penalty for those that are caused the delay, because the report depends on every institution sending their supplementary reports. Based on the supplementary report, they come up with a final report from the Ministry of Finance and Planning. So I think this is a really good thing. I hope they keep it up, because we have this kind of mentality like that don't care attitude. I see it many times it happen to people in Liberia. Unfortunately, I didn't work with the government to have those. I work with an institution where every week we're giving report weekly, and the Oslo report have to go on the 5th of every month. So before then, all of the reports should have been compiled and sent in. If we have an institution that is not making their monthly report or even annual report, there should be some consequence, that they will have to beat up with. I think that was a good thing that they took. I hope they can continue.
Okay, so then let me just restructure the question here, and bring in Terry, Sissy, and then Jones can come in here. I'm wondering some of these things that are happening. Yeah, we have the first branch of government. Is it lack of strong civil society organizations that, like we see here, sometimes you have some other independent organizations, civil society. They have all of the resources, they will have the money, they will push, they will lobby and fight for ordinary people. But I see this seems to be lacking, because the civil societies organizations that we have, they are all contaminated, they are all polluted, they are all more or less political wing. Their advocacy is being directed to where they're going to get their benefit. Even when the hair try to see the next day, the hair will be sooner or later, the person gets corrupted, because it's a society that we have, and people are struggling to live. So as the result, when you become the largest person so quickly overnight, in less than 24 hours, you will be stabilized, because people will apply what I call financial violence and get you on the side and say, hey, slow down. You have a long way to go. There's a brighter future for you. This thing here, you can't do anything. You have a long way to go. And that's how government, that's how it looks. They get people there who can initiate people and do everything. I remember my late brother used to work at LPR-TV. This guy, the late Tano, I think Sister might know him, smart guy, Tano Maulo. He used to be the one of the operation guy. During this fractional thing, the guy went there to try to get stuff. Later, they saying very slow, man, the society, the society is just on higher. People went in there, those days it was a fractional government, and so more or less when you go in there, only your book. But by the time you get into a system, you see that you are a hard landlord, or you try to do what is right. Trust me, people are there to neutralize you. And how you can't fight with 6 years, 600 life you're here. You alone come here, you think, and if 4, 5, 6 person here say, hey, we're moving in the direction, do you think you can easily penetrate? So quickly to the question, is it because of a lack of strong civil society organizations to protect people's civil liberties, to fight for things, to fight for real changes? whether they want to be beneficiary or not, but they are there to fight. Is that what lacking that get us to get our society that we are so struggling? People make these laws, the politicians make these laws, and they come and fool or lie, come on show all of the arguing. But guess what? When they go up to drink their cold chili paste beer.
Yeah, you asking me, Mr. So?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the civil servant society is not effective because everybody depend on the government, and I think it's very sad for our society. You know, there is no opportunity in the corporate world in our society. We don't have that level of, everybody is just trying to make a point wherein the government will spot them and bring them on board. Everybody is just focused on government. You wake up in the morning, everybody attention is what the government has done and what the other people. 90% of the people are involved with politics. All right. So as a result, the remaining few people that claim to be advocates, they're not doing anything. They're just only looking for opportunity. All right. The other day, I saw these guys that were in America here. Most of the advocates in Liberia that was part of civil service society or so, most of them go back to the country and wanting to be representative or senator. I was seeing the other guy, Vendela Patrick's. He said he was advocate. He want to be. He ran he ran. I think in Maggie district, and he did not win, which is Maggie County. Even the likes of Henry Costa, the likes of all these people, the moment they get to some level wherein they're fighting for the rights of the people and things to change, they sway away and go directly into politics. All right. So it's more like people are fighting because our society is built in a way that once you're not in government, your life can't change. That is what it is. All we just have all the resources in the country is in government. So everybody fighting to go to government because they're thinking that this is where all the resources are. Not knowing that in other places too, in the private sector, there are opportunities there. But nobody want to take advantage of that opportunity. Everybody want to go up to government. People get podcasts, they go on podcasts, they argue all day just because they want to go to government. You understand? Like I tell people, I say when I'm arguing, I don't want to argue to be right. I want to argue to be able to contribute to my society. I'm not arguing to win an argument. I'm arguing to contribute my quota to the upliftment of my society. That is what it is. That is why our arguments are based on opinion. So with civil servants in Liberia, once there is no a financial push. In fact, besides financial push, there are some civil servants that got opportunity, they got money, they got break. Like, take for example, I was listening to this guy, right? Or what his name? Frank Atus. Okay, this movie guy. I was listening to this guy. This guy is trying to transform the movie industry, but he was asked why you chose to go into politics. And he said because that's the only way he feel that he was able to transform the movie industry. The movie something in Liberia. So there are a lot of problems with our country. Everybody that I noticed that happens to be maybe a civil servant or an advocate, every one of them, once they reach to the level of popularity, once they get popular and have shows and other things and speak up for people, once they become popular, the next thing they want to go into government. That proves that they have no good intention. Somebody will say, oh yeah, that the man right. The man want to go to government, that he right. But then you have a vision. What becomes of the vision that you claim that you have to be an advocate? What becomes of that vision? Like even the council of churches. What the council of churches doing? What are the contribution to the upliftment, to the stability, to laws that will govern our people in the right way? What are they doing? What the contribution? All the people who died during President Weah time, mysteriously, the church said nothing. The Islamic community said nothing. You understand? Because everybody is depending on government, handouts, support, bribery, and all of that. That is how the society is built. And it is every day when I wake up, I see that it's becoming difficult to change Liberia. You go to talk shows, you listen to Spoon Talk, you listen to these guys that have been given governmental positions, these guys that are in civil service, you listen to them, you feel bad about Liberia. You even look at the government that will brought in power, some of the things that you see they do, some of the things that they're doing now, you feel discouraged. You understand? And the worst thing is that nobody in the civil service society, no advocate is saying nothing. I was thinking that I saw some kind of post they talk about how Stanton Waterspoon is going to jail in April 29 or so. I think something like that. So if Stanton leaves, what become a Spoon Talk? What become a Spoon Talk? If we see the closing argument. Closing argument is a break off of the we are led group. They're not going to say anything balanced. They're just going to be there to be lashing against Joseph Boakai government because they were not given the opportunity that when we are wins, so they can get an upper hand. That the society is just built on a one pallet, one drive mentality. Everybody is just fighting to be able to have access to power where they can permeate themselves and ride big car and live a better life. And I think that is going to hurt Liberia greatly.
Okay. Yeah. Sisse, help us find the solution here and see if we can make that recommendation to the old man.
Well, for me, my own arguments are usually based on facts. They're not opinions. So let me differ on that part. Look, I hate when we use a broad stroke to paint everybody in Liberia or paint every civil society group in Liberia. In these United States, pressure groups, watchdogs, which form civil societies, have money. Executive directors are on payroll. Staff is on payroll. A lot of these people make 6 figures, some of them 7 figures. So it is a lucrative job. And in fact, in some states, when you file your taxes, they ask if you want to donate to some of these places. Let's be fair. How many of you have raised money to pay for the operational cost of one civic organization in Liberia and then hold them to account when they decide to look for a job to feed their families in government? Most times these entities are run by people in their individual pockets. And when the water go dry, the people got to go look for food to feed their families. But that is just the nature of the beast. So it baffles me. I think what we ought to be doing is how can we fund a sustainable civic society in Liberia that is independent. Once we have that, then you can hold people to account. You can't tell somebody to be preaching genocide. People say, don't preach genocide. Yeah, you preaching genocide all day and you go home, you're hungry. You got to find a job. You got to see your family. But look, let me sway from there a little bit, because my sister Koto said something that I disagree with, and I think it borders on being illegal. That they're withholding people's salary because they ain't made report. Is the report the 100% of the job requirement, or did they do other jobs and the report was a percentage, but you withhold 100% pay even though they perform some jobs? And does the government have the right, because this borders on servitude, on slavery, indentured slavery, to hold people pay without going to court? That is illegal. No matter how we say we like it, it's illegal. The same way Mary brushed the guy in the street and beat people on Saturday, it was illegal. It was cleaning road, but it's illegal. In this country, you don't go to work and your boss may say, because you don't give me 3 reports, we hold your salary for the whole month. We want people to do work, but we should not be empowering people to enslave our people and create state-sanctioned indentured servitude. So let me just put that in this space.
I don't want to argue that.
Hold on, hold on.
They don't pay you for the day.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Yeah, all your time to talk, you have to give on fire. Let my time to talk.
You talk about power on fire.
That's servitude. And if you must hold somebody's salary, there has to be a court provision. It has to be sanctioned by a judge. Nobody, show me the law. Nobody has the right to withhold somebody's pay. Nobody, without legal justification from a court. So beyond that, I'm on here because I finished with MCC. So I'm looking at the e-marshal website.
Don't find anybody that do the e-marshal website.
The people here got Dr. J. Alexander Nuta as Minister of Education. The last time I checked, I know that my sister, Dr. Jala, the Minister of Education. Like that executive mansion website. You better fix it.
Wait, because
yeah, you put this file on the website engineer now, so they can find it.
I'm talking to the government. Up to now, they have 12 cabinet positions listed. Only 5 of them get picture. They don't they can't take picture because when they take picture, it can burn. You better update your website. Up to date. When you click on the bio of the vice president, it says coming soon. You can't put 1, 2, 3 paragraphs together for the vice president for a bio. It's still coming. George, we are, because you can still click on e-marshal and look at past president's website. So I'm saying something based on research because I look at the past president e-marshal website. And everyone the e-marshal website also stated. The vice president bio was there. Chief Dr. Juha Watero bio was there. The first lady bio was there. We're looking at this current e-marshal website. You click on first lady bio, nothing there. This is where people go to check things. This is the executive mansion website. And I start though, asking people.
You start telling people job is a go ahead for you.
You want enter the Lofa Chimos ACL99. Okay. So Terry, not Terry, Elvis.
Yeah.
Does Sister have a point?
Of course, he has a point there. But quickly, I will just respond to Terry quickly before, I agree with you, Terry. I think, civil servants are not doing a good enough job. And when you find people who are activists, once they get into government, they completely switch off and they become, self-serving. But I'll give you one example, one shining example that has been doing well. It's the Representative Samuel Anders. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He had been working with a church, I think, from the United States here. He had been doing some charity work in his community. They help him. Again, this is not coming from his own pocket. This is in collaboration with a church from the United States who has been working with him on the ground in the rehab area. He built a school called African Dream, which is a semi-public school. It's not completely free, but it's for the quality of education that you're getting, the tuition that you're paying. It's very, very good in that location. He's been doing well in that community. He went to the legislature, went to the House of Representatives. He's built, I think a community center there. He got a lot of things that's helping the community. But of course, it is not his exclusive responsibility to render services to his constituents. It should be the government collective responsibility to do so. But I think as an activist before going to government, having gotten into government, he has continued his activism. So I want to applaud him for that. He's an outlier, to be fair, for people who are active, doing activism before they get into government, and then they completely change. But like Mr. Goya said, look, the private sector in our country is so weak that politicians, when they get there, in America, I'll just go off on a tangent. In America here, you have people who will go into government. You can bet 90% of them, or maybe 95% of them will not do any corruption in government, but they get their kickbacks by going as consultants and lobbyists. So these big, firms like Halliburton, like Raytheon, like Boeing, after they leave office, they become consultants because these people have assets, access to their former colleagues. They can go on Capitol Hill and ask for certain bills to be passed. That's a form of corruption, but it's called quote unquote legalized corruption. So those guys don't worry about getting the money up front. They know that they will get big position in the private sector when they leave government, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars after they leave office. That's because the United States have a strong private sector, and in a way, it deflects corruption in the public sector while they're there, because they know they will get the kickbacks by getting lofty jobs when they leave office, because people want them to peddle that influence that they had while they were in Congress. So that's the difference of between Liberia. When these guys leave office, they have no more influence to go on Capitol Hill and do any kind of lobbying to their colleagues, and they have no other means to get into the private sector. If they're not business minded, they have no other means to support themselves. So corruption is almost like the only option. Not advocating for it, but for some of these guys in their psyche, is the only option. So that's why I think we have to build our society from the ground up. I think what the CSA guy is doing, Josiah Joker, I think is great. But I'm a little worried about him. Like people said, I think Terry or somebody else said that these guys are going to push back. Mr. Sewell was saying it. You have people in these agencies who are going to push back and try to neutralize you. And this guy, I had the privilege of interacting with him on other platforms. He's a very smart guy, well-spoken, very, very intelligent. I think he worked in the DRC Congo, did some work there for the UN, has a great and impressive resume. But that's one shiny apple in a room full of darkness. So if he's going to be the guy that's going to try to sweep everything up and clean up that system, he has to know what he's depending on, and I hope they don't hurt him in that process. But he's doing a great job. So we have to applaud those who are doing a good job so far. But this is our country. This is what we have right now. Some of our laws are incomplete, especially with the asset declaration law. It's incomplete. You just say you declare an asset and nobody can verify and say, no, we need you to come back here. These things don't add up. You have to go back and refile them. We're seeing that you have this other asset. You have to come in and add it to your asset declaration. We never see any of that. All of these things are done, behind closed doors. And let's remember, this was done for the public good. So if the public can see it, what good is it doing for the public? So a lot of these laws are incomplete, and they have to add more steps to it so that it can be more transparent. But overall, I kind of agree with Mr. Goya's argument and a little bit of Terry's argument. But there's been one or two people who have been activists, went into the House, and have continued the activism and have done a good enough job. I would say that.
Okay, the number is out there. Usually we accommodate our viewers, our followers to form part of the talking point. If you if you choose not to go with what we are discussing, but as a Liberian, you also have a fish to fry with what is happening in Liberia. Let's go to our first caller here. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, good evening. This is Pedro Powell.
Oh boy. Let's hear you.
Thank you so much for the
show.
I say today, after election, there's a certain thing happened between Terry and this is two of them are opposition to one another.
Oh my!
And I'm enjoying it. I see Terry.
Internet is buffering. Let me go up.
The door is open for him.
Who coming to you? Sisi coming to you? Where?
Yeah, coming to us. He listened to me and I said, what the message is the truth. Because the thing is criticized, they're doing it now. So I know today realizing the mistake I made to support Baga to become president. So I know he's coming back. On the issue.
He can just turn things upside down. Go ahead.
You know that they always got to get you hot when you try your quiet. So
yeah, go ahead.
Hello, Sescoto. Hello.
Internet is bad tonight.
I joined by you.
Go ahead. Make your point. Look at you alone. You let me too much.
It's not about business. You come here for it.
In sleep.
You worry about the
issue. Look, my brother Morris. I heard you also FM and I commented on you, but I normally I didn't want to speak. So sorry for that. But I accept your analysis about the election loss. But right now the push. I got their opinion on it. No, let me tell you something. The policy they play on a push, it was strong to the fullest to the extent that there's a people buy into it, and some people that believe in it, they buy into it. Nothing strange, nothing different. This is what we're doing now. People, they've grandchildren from all the sidewalk and put them in jail, Nana. That's what I call recently. We think a policy issue. There is no policy place in place. Take a drug. The president take drug test. How many minutes you see that take drug test? How many days ago for? Again, come to the other one what you just said. Look, The man said he gave the 7 40,000. 40,000, not $40, not $40, $40,000. 7. How issue with employment? Do you want to tell me that's 40,000? Only in one regime, 6-year time? Apart from that, I hear them saying those who are not qualified because they're Christian or even the degree.
Mr. So, leave it, please. Please, leave it right there.
Who the 40,000 they been talking about?
He said 40,000, 7.
Yeah, before John, we are now that's 67,077.
Listen to me. The total number now on the 7 now is 70,000 plus. Unit by 11 was 7,000. And CC carried 8,000, 70,000.
Check a second.
Those numbers are off.
You ready with your tabatana?
Listen, Terry, I know you would never be real. So I like you whenever you support my thing. Look, you're saying the poor high issue with employment. You got 7 or 67,000, 11 or 67,000. It went up to 70,000 plus. Then you coming off because the job won election. They say poor qualified because to work in the government. How do you qualify and not be qualified? Is it because you want to take out people?
Okay.
I that again.
Thank you.
Can I ask him a question, Mr. So, permit me?
No, we don't have time for that.
Okay.
Quickly. Caller, are you there? My he said 203-9037.
Yeah, Mr. So, it's Walter.
Oh boy. Says get ready, your patron here. Let's hear you, Mr. Ketter.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good evening. So, the panelists. Well, Mr. So and the rest of the panelists, we have to. This thing about our identity for me. I've been struggling with some stuff that's going on. I've been hearing on social media. Christianity, this, that, and the other one, culture, and all that. I think we should understand that before certain things came, we used to live. And because somebody came and introduced certain things to us does not supersede what we used to live, how we used to live before. Our people, God gave them the right. When they were created, there was a way of life they had. Sometimes it can be more than 5 years. But for us, and them, our tradition, our culture, I think it's at the last show that I heard, Terry, they were talking about all the different abuse in our culture, our society is bad and all that. I think it's sad because a man who does not have a culture or tradition is nobody. He's nobody. And we should learn to respect and appreciate our culture. Before we came in this world, our forefathers were here. They don't want to pave the road for us. And let's talk about the government a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to be like on this government, particularly like I said, I'm going to be very nationalistic about Liberia because if the government succeed, we also succeed. But what is unfolding in our society, I see there's a creeping danger. Back for the past 6 years, there was freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and everything. We used to see camera go all around, and putting out there those ills in society.
So I play camera not going on.
Of people.
So, Ketter,
Yes.
where is camera not going on?
How many radio stations are closed? How many newspapers have been closed?
Yeah, today there was a video trending on Facebook. This guy from Shine TV Liberia or something like that went out on Central Street to do a coverage about the garbage down on Central Street. And the police started to fight the guy to cut the camera off. And I'm wondering why. And even people in government are telling the Liberian people, oh, you can be talking this also something about the country, if that's not will not come. Yeah, the past 6 years, Those are the same people that were sitting down in America here and putting everything out there, even some of the things that were not part of our society, they put it out there because they wanted to discourage investors. And I frown at that. And I don't want people to do that in this regime or this time because we want our country to move forward. Don't look at the debt on Central Street. And I'm not saying the debt was not there before.
So then what are you saying now?
But when you say you come to do something different, you come to Mr. So this is the thing. We have to hold people accountable. These people told us that they would do better. We wanted to do better for the country. Again, we should allow to get away with sitting down the same way Jefferson Kochi was sitting down in the city hall, and Moruba was stinking and dirty, and they banned up Jefferson Kochi for that. And so because now this other mayor can't be sophisticated and Jefferson Kochi, the place still getting
but he hasn't had enough time, Keto. He hasn't had enough time.
Where are you, Keto? You want to come on? We already we got 10-15 minutes to go. Okay, but just stay on the line so you make your closing statement. So I don't know. This one I'm caught in the middle of this whole thing.
Give it to the CDC. Give it to the CDC, brother.
Yeah.
You look very uncomfortable what your partisan is saying. What's going on?
Look, I said it before when I came on the show earlier. We have to be fair. Fair analysis and fair criticism is always appreciated when people with sound minds are listening. We all want our capital city to reflect the people that we think we are as a nation. We want it to be clean. We want it to have some level of structure and organization. But without even 100 days passing, with now criticizing this government, new mayor of the city of Monrovia as a failure, and comparing him to Jefferson Koji, who had 6 years to clean up the city and did nothing, it's so unfair to do that, Ketcher. I think give the guy a chance. And what I'm saying is, maybe people think I'm switching, but those who have followed me, they know I'm a staunch Sidician. I'm a staunch, supporter of President Weah. But I don't mince words when it comes to being fair in my criticism. It's way too early. This guy has barely had a chance to get his team together. Let him get things running, and let's see how he's going to perform, and then we can juxtapose it to the previous mayor and what he's doing today. So please, Keter, I think that's unfair to him.
Correction, please. Can I make a point of correction?
No, Keter, we got to talk. You don't want to come to the show.
No, I want to make a point of, you see, Mr. George, interject when somebody talking to you.
John, you say call. Is that you calling from 86 something? I think.
Wait, look, Keter, I'm the co-host of the program.
My brother Evan.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Keter. You were doing here. I think was calling. Yeah, they my phone.
Anytime call him because you got to complete the whole circle.
Hold on 1 second. I think Mr. Hannes is calling. Let me see what I can get him back on. Oh. Yeah, there's my phone here.
You're not saying
Go ahead.
Nana go phone there.
So I didn't criticize the sitting mayor. I said the city police were preventing journalists from doing their work. The journalist went to cover the die on Central Street, and he was attacked by city police not to do the coverage. That's what I said. And I didn't say the city mayor. I said during those days, people were sitting down, they were recording, they were putting on Facebook how the city was dirty. They blasted Jefferson Kochi. Now that this government is in power, you see garbage on the street, journalists going there to cover it, but they are preventing them. They were fighting it. That's what I said. I'm not criticizing the city mayor. I just
okay, but Keter, your premise was wrong.
Keter,
your premise was wrong, Keter, because you said that the cartel press freedom, and that premise was wrong.
I'm trying to call you back. I don't know why you're going that way too, but let's see. Yep. Okay. Yeah, let's go to let me see what I can get him. Mr. Hena, are you there?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm there, sir.
Okay, so let's hear you. I guess you are calling to make a contribution, right?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thanks to my colleague, my friend Boris. He's doing pretty well. Well, it's been a long time I haven't called.
Yeah.
Very busy with schoolwork. Sorry about that. Well, honestly, as a supporter of the current government, I am to some extent disappointed when it comes to certain things, like some of the way the appointments going on in our country. We want to see the current government, the JV government, being in control. Appointing, withdrawing, it's kind of disappointment. But I agree with my colleague, my good friend there, very eloquent guy, Morris, when he talk about giving people time, especially the city mayor. You've got a deputy coach who has 6 years, and unfortunately, he has nothing to show. And then giving the current guy who has just gone barely 2 months, and you want to judge him? I mean, this is something I want to appreciate my colleague Morris there for. He being a strong supporter of CDC. But honestly, I mean, I must admit, I didn't expect this of him. Honestly, he's battling cattle. I mean, that's quite amazing. It tells me without people are thinking. I am supporting JMB, but as I speak right now, I have strong reservation. JMB has to take the lead. He has to be in control. We want the best for our country. We don't want, look, it's not about, we want to see the best for our country. We elected you, and you must do the work that we elected you for. Nothing like we progressing.
Nothing less than that,
it's not about me. It's not about you. Okay. We will go after. We will go after JNB today, tomorrow, if he does not perform. I don't want a job. The government must perform for our people. Liberia must be an example in Africa. We are the oldest independent country in Africa. Oldest, next to for Black 80, if I was in 80.
Okay.
All right, so I mean, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
I'm very, very happy for this show. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. So I hate to do this to the group. I got guests over. I have to run.
So I'll make your final point before you go.
Mr. Morris, thank you for holding down the show today. Apparently, you get today. Look, I think you can both support somebody and be critical of them, and you can also not support somebody and call the spade where they were doing good and where they're doing great thing. And I hear my brother Brigham will give me a hard time because he hasn't understood me. Is that I've always been the same season. I'm going to criticize where you do wrong. You're my own buddy. I'll come at you. And even George Weah, I give him praises for where he did well. So that doesn't change anything because at the end of the day, for me, what we follow in the campaign was Liberia is bigger than everybody else. And so I think we have to come together to hold this thing accountable. So having said that, I would say good night to everybody. It was nice.
Yeah. Good night.
All right. So it's we will try to hear as much. I don't want to be like a liberal right on top of the hour. We'll try to be wrapping up. He's here tweeting crazy because he can't see his way through here tonight. I don't know who's the co-host and all kinds of things he's sending here. Wow, we're inside. He and Terry were on a Tabatala, and we're not inside. I only to know we're inside. Please, for a break. Okay, guys. Let's see here now. It's almost 6 minutes to the time. Let's use the last 6 minutes to wrap up. Let's see. How can we communicate to our government? What is still lacking? What needs to be done? What needs to be fixed? And let's just put that government, that political bulletproof as be a unity party, saying or supporters or whatever it is. I think the argument of everybody, from what I understood to be, is that people just want better Liberia. And when the government when the government is doing well, it's good for us. We who are outside of Liberia, because we kind of feel the heat as well, because we have friends, we have siblings, we have people that are connected to us. These people are calling because they can't just get it for themselves, even though, I mean, it has been like that. But overall, we want the government to succeed, because when the government succeeds, the better the country becomes. And those are the kind of conversation we should be keeping. Breakable, chat a second. You can speak over my analyst. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for the show. You know, I admire you guys. You guys, you're aware. But you know, on a serious note, let me just say this one. Let's be fair. The thing that happening in our country is very serious. Because somebody not support a party, does that mean they can go in for them when they are qualified? Well, the incident about the justice minister, the assistant justice minister that was denied supporting, is not correct. And not the first time. The other time, there's a graphic that was picture was showing on social media what if that party teacher only, he was pointed the joy for me. It's not a second time. It doesn't happen. So I don't know if this continue, what will be the next time or the next American in power? Will this continue? I don't know.
Okay.
We have to change the mind and also change the attitude.
Thank you for the show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Keto, you want to make a final point? Before I go to the live feed.
Like I said before, I think the government should allow people to air the view. I think through that they can correct some of the wrongs that are taking place in the cycle. To start to sanction journalists and freedom of speech and whatever, I think is not a good way, and that's why I was stressing. And everything has a fresh beginning, new beginning. So we got to get in time to get the foot, in work and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, government is continuing it. The city was there to honor Jefferson Kochi. The city cannot remain there, especially in the heart of the city. So when people go and see those garbage on major streets and try to put it out there, I think it's wrong for police or security officers to start fighting them and saying they should cut the camera off and they should, who are they? And they identify. When was the last time that people carry camera in the city and security people got to ask them, who are you and what are you recording for and all that kind of stuff? I think it's a bad thing. And we should stop that. The more criticism this government gets, and they can rectify what people are criticizing them about, the better for our country, the better for the government.
Thank you so much.
If you start to people's voice now, it's not going to be well for this government.
Thank you so much. Okay, so guys, let's go on the live view. We can kind of make it very brief and short to the point. Let's do our last wrap up. Who wants to go first?
Let me say this. Look, Kete, let me tell you, this is not out there press freedom. You saw one instance.
You saw what?
Kete said that the people sanctioned people view the government. He said there was an incident on Central Street with the police and the journalists. And he told me as the sanctioned people and the government is starting on the barefoot. And I said, Kete, Central government came to part that one instance he's seen. So you want to take the whole country and the government section people view.
He doesn't even know the details of the story.
Yes. So these kind of things stop it. Do you remember the journalist that was beaten that led to his death on George Weah and I think the guy from Lagos State, they said they're going to investigate what came out of it. So look, this thing is bad. Someone come here, if the government doing something wrong, we'll speak about it. If they're doing something wrong, we'll talk about it. So you can't just get up and put it on the line. If I ask you, what was the cost? You can't tell me. You're only saying, oh, they said they were taking picture. You spoke to someone from there.
That's a visual aspect. You saw. You didn't know what happened.
You nobody from there, but you just saw a picture and you conclude that this is what they're doing is wrong. And that is not good. The next one I want to touch on is, Terry, you said something about a church. Maybe you need to go do small history. So come out and pin everybody, just use one brush to print that the churches have not been doing nothing in Liberia. Then of course, you have to do more research about the churches in Liberia. The Episcopal Church, the Methodist Church, the Lutheran Church, the Baptist Church. I don't know about other Pentecostal people.
I'm a Baptist man, so
but these churches I know they are playing a major role.
You know about what's about the
I know Pentecostal.
They are playing a major role and continue to play a major role in Liberia. They may not speak on some issues, or maybe the way you want it, but to come and sit down and say the churches have not done nothing in Liberia, that is unfair. Someone that is unfair. the church or the churches in Liberia, they have been very instrumental in the growth of that country. You may disagree on some issue, but you can't just come and paint a whole brush. Secondly, the society is corrupt. The private institution can't make it. It has not been part of our DNA to sponsor or to support private service institution. So most of the people who fund the institution, they will go back to the same minister to get them fired out. And if the man getting fired out, how can you criticize him? The man controlling your stomach. So I think what we need to do is we want to see private institutions thriving in Liberia, then we will put our money there, where our money to support them. Because if we support them, we can cut the shot. Not everybody in Liberia is bad to that degree. There are corrupt elements in every society, you'll find it. So we can't just come and pin everybody that all the institutions are wrong or they're not doing the right thing. There are problems. But if we want them to go in the direction, we all have to participate financially, morally. The last time we got someone say, I'm hearing the whistle, the dog whistle being blown around, that JMB must take charge. How can JMB is the president? There are certain elements that people see around JMB or in the government that they don't want, some people don't want to see. And they feel that these people are the ones that are cutting the shots. Come on. Call these people names so we can know them. But JMB must take charge. The man's the president. He's the one that has authority to appoint anybody and dismiss them. This is his government. If he's not spearheading it, says that we're kicking out because we're coming back. Someone coming about reinforcement.
You will
but
vote?
The idea that you're treating that, that little guy, he must take charge. No.
All right. Thank you so much. You're not going to vote. You're talking about we're kicking back. How many votes don't get a
Wait, I'm not going to vote. You tell me whether I vote or not.
But Judge on fire tonight. I can go next, Mr. So. Maybe I can.
Let respect the lady, man. Let the lady go first. She's older than us.
Okay.
Then you can go, Elvis. I don't mind doing the last.
Today you respecting my age.
No, I always respect you. You know that.
No, I know.
You're top job. I know Pajoba, this is you see, I'm in a chill position tonight. I'm in a lazy boy chair. I'm not prepared to fight with anybody. You're jumping all jubo, holding me all over the place. I'm not going there with you. I'm not going there.
Thierry, did I hear you say what? The woman what?
You know, I was here.
Is older than us.
Or the day before. I want to say
so why went with that?
No, I'm not ready.
You guys,
yeah, go ahead, Mama. Today your birthday?
I want to say happy belated birthday to Mr. Soul.
Okay.
You know, since his birthday, I haven't been on the show. I want to say happy belated birthday. That's just a young baby.
What's your birthday?
Me?
For a second.
When was your birthday?
See, Charles.
You all were making flowers, so how you even know? Thank God he passed to God. Thank God they didn't go. They didn't even win a city mayorship.
Seriously. Seriously. I'm telling you.
For my closing, actually, we talked. I mean, the show was good, even though I came in late, but most of the issues that were discussed, you know, I think it was quite, elaborated on. And when I talk about those controller issues, and Sister came in to say that you can't hold people's salary because it can take you have to go to court. It's the same as if you penalize them, if they are dissatisfied, let them go to court. We were here the other day when the guy from the MCSS, no, not MCSS, that was the guy that sister were complaining about. We heard him here. There are many, cases of such. They have the people working. Just for example, you have the payroll compare, and you keep coming up with delay of this job. Why are you having so many people working and they cannot produce? What can you do about it? You either suspend, you dismiss, or you do something about it. So why sometimes they say they suspend you will pay? That is the same thing as holding your pay. So if you, the employee, if that is done, you dissatisfied, go to the court. But you can't go and carry, you as an administrator, go and carry somebody to court before you hold their salary. It doesn't make sense to me. I take my action. If you're not satisfied with my action, you go to court for my action.
Yeah, I don't go to court in there and you think like,
exactly.
When you hold my salary, I call the police.
And I heard Breakable talking about, we had some of us going aside or we responding against the government. And I'm one of those. I supported the JNB government, but it doesn't mean that everything they are doing, I support it. I will rather become critical on some of the things that they are doing. I'm not at the George Weah, people when they supported everything George Weah was doing. Even when George Weah was there, I didn't support George Weah. That was
can you say you can't be like a liberal that forget what George Weah?
No, I'm just making anyway. We have to make comparison. I don't care what you do. What we all do here, we have to make comparison. When George Weah built the hospital, I was one of those who commended him for building the hospitals. The only thing I disagree with him was that since 1847, nothing such a thing had not been happening. Then I disagree with them that no, it's not true. Because the Barrack had hospital for the military. Maybe it might not have been a big hospital like what we did. But you can say since 1847, it never happened. So for me, that was my point. So if you criticizing, if I'm criticizing somebody, I would say the right thing they did and the wrong part of it they did. But unlike then, they agree whether we have vomited or we have did anything, everything we have did was just okay. But I'm the different. I supported boycott, but I'm not supporting any wrongdoing of this government. I will be very critical of them.
Are they doing that wrong thing
right now? The very breakable was saying I was here talking because of job. I wanted a job. I have never given one. I have never talked to anybody to say I want a job before. I worked there during any time we put any in power. I never ran behind anybody for a job there. I was in my private sector. And I see here a lot of people saying that people, don't get a job and that's why they are doing the wrong thing. I disagree with most of those people. Because I live in Liberia, I never worked with government. I created my own job. I created business. You sit there every day. We want to sit down and depend on the government. Because of that, we don't want to say anything against people that are in the government because we all want to hang our clothes right there for all the clothes to get dry, right? In a sense, somewhere other people's clothes hanging. Sure. So you won't have the opportunity to criticize. But I can criticize anytime. You can't do me anything because if you're not paying me, I'm not living in your soup pot. So we should stop the habit that if we don't work with government, we can't fit in the society. It's not true. Not everybody. Let's create job for ourselves. If you know you cannot get in the government at the time, I see people now criticizing why they don't absorb them in the government. And it's not right. This one government can absorb everybody that supported them. Where do they have to put everybody to go and work? Create job. Go and do something for yourself, for your country. You can sit there every day, you want government. What are you doing for your government?
Okay, let's leave it there. Let's go to Terry.
Good night. Thank you, guys.
Terry wanted me to go before you go, so I'll go before you.
Thank you, Sis Cotto.
Yeah. Who going? Terry, are you going?
No, I'll go.
You want me to go? I can go.
No. You see, the one will go first, then I'll go.
Okay, go. Because it looks like you want beat me tonight, so go ahead, my man.
No. Come here, agree with you. Look,
everyone, we'll see you tonight. I think it was my first time seeing you tonight, even though we clash sometimes.
Thank you. It's a pleasure sharing the platform with you. Look, I'm excited on one thing that the president said, and I'm looking forward to it. I said on the platform a couple of times when we were talking about what the president needs to do to hit the ground running. And it was in front page that he's talking about, going some form of fiscal austerity. And I think that's a great idea because we're in dire straits, especially financially as a nation. And I think the president is alluding to that he needs to cut some fat, he needs to trim some fat from the government. But I think first he has to come and give a press conference and explain to the Liberian people that this is going to be a hard decision that needs to be taken to tackle the economic issue in our country. We can't be putting money, or almost all of our money, in the government, reoccurring expenditure. And he has to trim some fat. He has to let some people go. That would be a risky decision politically. But I think if he tackle it well, and he create jobs, and he really use that money that he's going to trim from from cutting some service servants and cutting some places, I think that's going to elevate the economic growth in the country faster, and that in the future that may bode well for the United Party politically. But I'm so excited that he's throwing that line of going to some form of fiscal austerity, cutting down expenditures in the government. So I'm happy about that. On the flip side, I would say this is a clearing call to the president. Your image right now is being seen as being a lawless president so far. Changing position, issues, people who are seen to be witch hunted by your government because they were affiliated with the CDC government. Some of the names are being, withdrawn from nominations. You don't want to be that person. From what we know, looking from the outside, we thought you were a law-abiding, old elderly statesman. So you need to desist from being seen. At least the optics of it is that you're lawless, and maybe you can revert back to your old self that we thought we knew, and abide by the law and do things through the court and not arbitrarily or by fiat or by decree. But thank you for the show, Mr. So. It was great being on the platform. We're sharing it with Terry and other guys.
Yeah, look, obviously, always good to have you
But
here.
everywhere meet the president, you look at him being lawless.
Look, they change your position, Mr. So, Mr. George. We all think it's unconstitutional to just fire people and tell them to go to court. We don't think that's the right move. Maybe you disagree with us. We've drawn a lot of mean.
It can only be lawless when the court decide that.
Well, you can't stop him from expressing his view.
I'm just saying. I didn't say he was. I just
Hello?
said it would be lawless when the court decide that.
So let's hear Terry.
My internet is messing up, man.
No, that's all right.
Hello?
We're getting you, Terry. We're getting you.
I think we'll do it another time, man. Hello, you getting me?
Yeah,
we're getting you. Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, let me go.
We said we can hear you. There you go.
Well, I think he got to go pray to Mother Mary.
Like man, liberal in his system,
Yeah, he got some point.
The liberal just sent me a text. He said he the one messing with you.
Terry got to go.
Yeah, maybe the liberal is messing with me, but you're getting me? Hello?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, thank you, Mr. So, for the show. And I just, lay back and enjoy the show. Actually, I think like something Keto said, I want to clarify that I never denigrated our culture. I said there are several other things in the culture that have recipe for domestic violence. And I will continue to say that without any, looking at I'm freezing.
Oh, you're fine, my man. Go ahead.
Just talk. We can hear you.
Yeah. I'm not. So that is what it is. So I'm not going to hold back on that. I will say it continuously that there are something. I grew up in a culture, Liberian culture, made me to be disciplined and made me to be the person I am. I'm not going to denigrate everything about the culture. You go back, you listen to the video, you will listen to me explaining about even the American culture and some things in the culture that I don't like. So, people say, oh, Terry denigrate the culture, blah, blah, blah. It's up to you. It's up to you the way you want to take it, the way you want to believe it is, and all of that. And, I was talking also about the Council of Churches. The Council of Churches, Pa Josh, when I said most of the something, I'm talking about on the ratio, most of the Council of Churches, all of that, they have not spoken in regard to the three Mason boards, the auditors, the auditors, they didn't say anything. They didn't talk about it. That is where I'm coming from. All right. We didn't hear nothing, no press release, nothing during the period of time.
I think Bishop Cordry of the Council of Churches.
Bishop Reeves also spoke on it as well.
So Terry,
okay.
It is your view.
Yeah, what I'm saying,
then, because we know
I'm not making blanket statement, Pa George. I am making statement on the basis of what I know. What I know is that they never came out to address the issue with vigor. They did not put in strength to address the issue. They did not address the issue like the way we know they're supposed to. All right. And these things are not good for our society. And lastly is that again, the religion of Christianity is not a white man religion. If they are how you call it, Keto was saying that the people came to you in Liberia, the people brought the gospel to you. It left for you to take it or not. The Islamic religion, any religion in the world, when it comes to you, every religion wants you to be part of them. How you think Islam spread? Islam is in Liberia. In fact, Islam was the oldest religion, was one of the oldest religions in Liberia. All right. But Christianity got there and people decided to adopt Christianity because they felt that it was a better way to live. All right. And that is how it is. Nobody forced you to become a Christian. If you felt your traditions were good for you, it's okay. And even up to today, Liberians still practice their tradition. Christianity never took Liberian traditions away. We still got a poor society. We got a saintly society. We got different traditional practices in Liberia. If you don't go into the interior, you will never know.
Is there a debate you want to have?
Yeah, but
I'm not really getting you because the breaking coming in very bad and the signal is very bad on my side. Yeah. So that is what it is, Mr. So.
Okay. So while you're here, I'm just getting a text message here. We, as you know, the traditions of this network, we value the views, opinions of our viewers and followers. They also have the right. But this is what the person saying, Mr. So, thanks for the show. Please let Terry know that I disagree with his opinions about churches in Liberia. Churches contribute very much to the educational development of Liberia. I am one of the many individuals who benefited from the Catholic Church in Liberia. I attended Catholic school for 12 years, and the educations I got has helped me in my sojourns on this earth. This education even made me to be competent enough to attend universities in Kenya, University of Pennsylvania, and St. Joseph University. Liberians should praise the roles of churches in the development of Liberia. Please announce this. Response to you are coming on to your audience. Many thanks, Dr. Clarence Gono. So you see, that's the beauty of this network. You know, there are some people that and Dr. Gono, I know the formula used to be with what those days we never even used to have a live. LPR was in this guy Mali team, I think in Philadelphia. It used to be like a mere telephone thing, and we used to have a lot of exchanges and national conversation as well. So, Dr. Gono, thank you so much. And you always following back from Kenya, try to show a face. And we don't want to take it personal. Yeah.
So you see, these are some of the things that I can maybe to want to talk more. All right. I know Dr. Gono is well spoken. But when people tell us that the white people brought the religion, these are the people that are educating you. These are the very same people that you claim they brought a religion to you and gave you the religion. They brought a culture and gave it to you. That's what I'm telling them, that no, the people adopted a religion that they felt that they wanted to, that was good for them. Everybody have the right to choose what you want to do. The same white people you're talking about. The people that were in the country and all the schools that we're learning, we're sending our children to the schools. So what I was telling Mr. Marley last night, undo the education, because the education involves the culture. Everything you're learning involves the culture. So it's just you just contradict yourself all the time. We gotta go. But I'm not even getting, because they're breaking too much. I'm not even. But
we gotta leave it.
Most of what I wanted to say, I want to be able to say.
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put on one ring. Reverend Sissy and Pajoy from the Bahafe and Cherry. Where you come from?
I'm a Bahafe. I'm talking about Bahafe.
They get doing it.
You have the
Any
right
animal,
to
right?
choose any religion you want to be part of.
Cherry, we wear background. We religion we
Man, Methodist man.
My background, Mr. So, my great grandmother was a Zoe. My great grandmother was a Zoe. She had her own village.
So
you understand? I chose to become a Christian by choice, nobody forced me.
From Pentecost?
Church or I was in the Baptist church. I got Reverend Samuel Reeves were the ones who baptized me at the age of 15 in the Providence Baptist Church. But I left Providence Baptist Church and became part of the Pentecostal movement because of the charismatic dimension. Then I became pastor. I became ordained into the ministry, and I run my own ministry. So when people be talking about, Christianity, that a white man religion, it means that they don't know about Christianity. They have no understanding about what Christianity looks like.
Let me ask you, Terry.
You understand?
Who took the religion to Africa?
Thank you so much, guys. We're gonna wrap it all here.
Who took the religion to Africa?
I want to put a special ring, and then
thank you for having me, guys. I'm gonna get out.
Elvis, Vice Commissioner Elvis. Okay.
All right, guys. Good night.
Okay. Okay, well, folks, that does it this evening. We want to thank you so much for sharing your beautiful Friday evening with us. It's 10:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here from the New England Bureau of the Library Public Radio. That's how we're going to wrap it up here this evening. And to our viewers, callers, Mr. Hennens, Fatima, and all of you good guys, your comments, your tweets. Usually we'll go back to review all of these comments. The liberal tonight is I don't know where get him freaking out all up like that and as if something. Oh, I see why he's away tonight. Tomorrow is Saturday. Sister know what I'm talking about. I think they say he grabbed it today, but it ran away. So he all out there chasing his goat for tomorrow. You Judgment Day, you and the goat then will talk some. Guys, we want to thank you so much and have a pleasant event by God's willing in the coming days. We'll be right back here to bring you more news, information, and entertainment. By the way, if you have an advertisement, if you have a function, be it wedding, graduation, convention, any memorable event for that reason, let us know it, and we can give you a public attention as well. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Yeah, yo. Yeah, yo. Yeah, that would be Maribeth. Benjo, Charlotte. I'm saying. Yes,